is Lions on Tap, a weekly look inside the Lions Den. Highlights, interviews, and a look ahead to what's next for the Leos. Now, here are your hosts, Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski, and Bob the Moj Marjanovic.
This is BC Lions on Tap on AM 730 and the Lions Audio Network. This week we're coming to you from a great establishment in North Vancouver, Black Bear Pub. And it's a lot of fun up here for my first time in the Black Bear Pub. And tell you what, I love this place. I love the vibe. I love the feel to it. And it's great having, being here at the Black Bear Pub. And a big thank you to the folks from Russell Brewing for having us here tonight, and all the folks from the Black Bear Pub. And of course, as we mentioned, it's the Moj, Bob Marjanovic, Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski from the Lions Audio Network. And our special guest tonight is the one and only Glen Suitor from TSN. I was going to say North Van Royalty. Can I call you North Van Royalty?
No, I don't think so. No? Just, I live here, but yeah.
All right. Well,
I've been to this pub a bunch.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
No shocker.
Yeah.
We see you come in, you're kissing babies, shaking hands, taking photos, and it's just, like I said, North Van Royalty.
I always have time for those who love our game.
And it's great to have you on board. And, man, guys, what a weekend it was. And I'm going to go around the table to each of you, and we'll start off with you, Matt. Game of the week for you.
Oh, wow. Well, had to be Ottawa, Winnipeg for me. I mean, you can pick at least, you can probably legitimately pick three of these four, right? But was away last week in Penticton listening on my phone. Our buddy AJ Jakubik, TSN Radio in Ottawa, his insane call of that Crum touchdown. Yeah, had to be Ottawa.
Quite the different call, guys, between Derek Taylor in Winnipeg and AJ Jakubik in Ottawa.
I have a hunch, yeah.
Yeah, Taylor was he went complete Steve Rabel on that one. 4 games, as we mentioned. Hamilton knocking off Edmonton 37-29. Toronto 35-27 over Montreal. Bakes, you mentioned it. Ottawa 31-28 over Winnipeg. Calgary knocking off Saskatchewan 33-31. Nick Kowalski, which one stood out for you?
I like the one on Friday, personally, Toronto and Montreal, and the reason for that was the quarterback play throughout the entire 4 quarters was stellar on both sides. Kind of saw vintage Cody Fajardo on the rollout, and hitting Austin Mackelgame, who's going against Jamal Peters, so some elite battles there. William Stanback came alive for the Alouettes, and then you had Winton McManus on the other side trying to contain him, and I just love the battles and the back and forthness of the game, and then a budding star in Chad Kelly getting the job done late.
So you actually worked 2 of these games, the Hamilton-Edmonton game and the Calgary-Saskatchewan game. Which one stood out for you?
Well, I love the upset. I love that Ottawa was down 16 with, a minute or 2 to go, and against one of the top teams in the league. No lead is safe, and came back down 16-1 in overtime against a top team. And that's the upset of the game. But, that Sask-Calgary game had 2 punt return touchdowns from Mario Alford, who – that he just becomes the 10th guy in well over 100 years to do that. Now, Gizmo Williams did it 3 times, where he had 2 punt return TDs, but he was on another planet as far as kick returners go, and that's in any league. But you know what? I think this weekend as a whole showcased just what's possible in our game and just how exciting it can be. I mean, that final 3 minutes of a Canadian Football League game is as good as it gets in sports.
Calgary-Saskatchewan was the game for me. And for many of the reasons you stated, I've watched half of it now, and I watched the last 8 minutes of it when I came back from my little, how would we put it? Vacation excursion, my excursion down to Mexico. But watching Calgary and Saskatchewan the first half, Jake Mayer threw over 200 yards. You talked about the punt return with Alford. He had 2 of them. I can't wait to get home tonight and watch the second half as I prep for the game this weekend with Saskatchewan coming to town. But to me, I think when I look at the games, I watched Winnipeg and Ottawa like the last half of it, and I really think that game was basically the last 3 minutes.
Sure.
Whereas I think Calgary Saskatchewan was probably more of the entire game, so to speak, much like Toronto and Montreal and even, Edmonton and Hamilton to a point. But here's something that kind of cracks me up. I was thinking about this because so many times you get the trolls, you go on Twitter and the fans are complaining about the games in the CFL and this and that. Do the math, right? 4 games in the CFL is one weekend. If you're looking down south to the big league, the National Football League, what do they got, 14 games a week?
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to hide that 10-7 Jacksonville-Miami game when all the highlights are maybe 3 or 4 of your best games. So if you want to compare a weekend in the CFL to a weekend in the NFL, take 4 weeks of or say 3 weeks of Canadian Football League action and then compare it.
Yeah.
Week per week, so to speak. It's a simple mathematical equation.
I don't know about you guys, but I've stopped comparing. I got off that hamster wheel a long time ago. I love both leagues. I'll watch both. I can watch a 9-7 NFL game and find something interesting in it, maybe defensively or a great play by D-end or something like that. But our game in that final 3 minutes, the rules make it possible to get 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 possessions offensively, which means you can be down by 16, maybe 21, and still come back and win in that final 3.
I think the rules are phenomenal. But, I'm with you. I don't compare it. I love all forms of football. But, sometimes you get on social media and oh, my gosh, I just shake my head.
On the topic of Calgary, Saskatchewan, big result for the Stampeders because they get to 2-3. The season series for them still alive with the Riders, and they're a game back. Had Calgary dropped that, Suits?
Yeah.
It's all but over for them as far as a top 3 in the West. That's crazy to say that in week 6-7, but that was a big win for the Stampeders.
It was, and I talked to the guys on Zoom the week before going in, and like we do every week, and Matt, they were talking like must win. They knew it. They felt that urgency, and that's when that Hail Mary happened to Tevin Jones with 40 seconds to go, and they take the lead. And this is why I think it's a big game for Calgary, not just to get the 2 points, and now they're 2-2, but to get Jake Mayer to orchestrate a 5-play, 6-play drive to set up the game-winning field goal in 40 seconds. That is going to be huge for his growth.
And here's the other thing, too, is so many times when you talk to coaches in any sport or even, players, they always talk about those reference points. The fact that, hey, we've done this before.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you talk about huge for his growth because now he has that confidence. He can think to himself, hey, you know what? Yeah, we can do this. I pulled that game out in Saskatchewan. We pulled that game out in Saskatchewan. We could do this again. When you have that reference point of overcoming adversity, coming from behind and winning a football game or winning any game in any sport, I think it's huge in terms of your team confidence.
No question. I think that's what it'll do for Jake. And you check those boxes that can you win, come from behind? Can you win when you get nicked up? Can you win when you're a lead and finish? Can all of those things we kind of check. And right now I know there's this big concern in the league about young quarterbacks. Yeah, and especially with Trevor Harris going down. I don't think it's a concern until it becomes a concern. You look at it and say, why are we expecting failure from young quarterbacks? Nathan Rourke was young last year when he came in. He did okay. I think we expect these young guys to have some ups and downs, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not expecting them to fail. They all have fantastic resumes from Division I schools. So let's see the young guys play. Crum was a good example of it. He beats Winnipeg down 16 with 2 minutes to go.
What about the commitment to the young quarterback? Because as we've seen in Edmonton, they're going back and forth in terms of who their starter is going to be.
Yeah, right now it looks like it'll be Taylor Cornelius again. I've kind of been hinting on the air on TSN about Trey Ford and hinting that maybe that U.S. coach bias is there in this case a little bit. Now they're saying that Trey Ford didn't look as good in camp this year as he did last year, and that's why he's third in the in the quarterback pecking order. And that's fair. If that's true, and Jared Daggy beat him out for the number 2 spot, then fine. But are they going to give Trey Ford from Waterloo 26 games if he only wins 4? Because that's what Taylor Cornelius has had. Yeah. And he's what is he, Oklahoma State, right? So yeah, I don't know, guys. I know it's there. I mean, how many media people when coach said Nathan Rourke is going to be our starter this year, how many even Canadian media guys went, what? You're starting a Canadian quarter? Oh my God, this is risky. This is a big risk.
Yeah, Rick Campbell referenced that more than once.
Yeah.
This is BC Lions on Tap. We're coming to you tonight from the Black Bear Pub in North Vancouver. And a big thank you to the folks from Russell Brewing for having us out. It's the Moj, Bob Marjanovic, along with Matt Baker and Nick Kowalski from the Lions Audio Network, Glen Suitor from TSN. We will continue to break it down. We're going to take a look at the upcoming week. We'll talk about the big matchup between the Lions and the Rough Riders Saturday at BC Place Stadium, plus some of the other games as well. You're listening to BC Lions on Tap on AM 730 and the Lions Audio Network.
Now, back to Lions on Tap. Here again is Bob Marjanovic.
This is BC Lions on Tap on AM 730, the Lions Audio Network. It's the Moj, Bob Marjanovic, along with Matt Baker and Nick Kowalski from the Lions Audio Network. We are coming to you from the Black Bear Pub in North Vancouver. Big shout out to the folks from Russell Brewing for hosting us tonight. Our guest here tonight, as we mentioned earlier, North Van Royalty, TSN's Glen Suitor, a product of Carson Graham Secondary. Mm-hmm. You know what? One
Eagles.
thing, yeah, the
Yes.
Eagles. You know, one thing kind of goes under the radar. How many good football players have come out of North Van?
Oh, tons. Yeah,
Right?
tons. I mean, Jerome Pathon,
Roper,
Joe Kuklo,
Millington.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can go on and on.
Yeah,
Paris Jackson.
Paris Jackson. Yeah,
Right.
lots of guys from North Van. Lots, and that's another great part of our game.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. This week, Saskatchewan at BC. Game time, 4 o'clock on Saturday. A game that you will be working. A lot of people look at the Saskatchewan team and wonder how it's going to fare without Trevor Harris, a quarterback. Of course, he's out with a leg injury. Mason Fine gets the start for him. What are you expecting from the Riders?
Well, I'm expecting them to play good defense again. They've been playing pretty good defense all year. Guys like Nick Marshall are gambling and winning some of those gambles and closing games. They have a solid special team. They have maybe the best returner in the game in Mario Alford. And, their question at quarterback is only a question. It's only a concern, if you will, when it becomes that. Right now, we don't know enough about him. Let's see what he does. And as you know, and seeing that Ottawa-Winnipeg game last weekend, I know that the Lions won't take him for granted. I know the Lions won't look at him and think this is a easy 2 points.
They're a little banged up at receiver. They're going to be without Jake Winicky, I think, for at least a week. Among others, Peter Godber, former Lion, not expected to be ready. Really testing it as far as depth is concerned. I mean, what's your read on how Craig Dickinson and company have handled these injuries?
Well, they've lost almost a starting receiving core. I mean, Winicky is one of them. Schaefer Baker, who had a great year last year. Braden Lenius, another North Van kid. Yeah, another North Van kid. Carson Graham
Walker's
kid.
out.
Yep, Darrell Walker as well. But that's where Tevin Jones and Jamal Morrow, who's played great out of the backfield. That's where these guys step up.
Emelis, too.
Sam Emelis, another Canadian kid. So. Yeah, they're banged up, but we talk about this quite often with a lot of other teams too, and you go through highs and lows, you go through ups and downs in your roster. You have to have depth. You have to have guys that step up and play. And one person in a football game cannot losing one and putting a next guy in should not change it that much. Aside from the quarterback, let's see what Mason can do. But aside from that, it really shouldn't change it that much.
The one thing when you look at this team, though, Nick, is that Saskatchewan they've got some confidence going right now. They're 3-2. This is a team that really finished poorly last year. They're battling through injuries. They're battling through adversity, yet they're still 3-2. I mean, so you like Glenn said, you've got to respect this team coming in.
And I'm just interested this week with no Trevor Harris. Like, we're so used to seeing Harris throw 30, 40 times a game, 3-step drop back, a lot of passing. But do you think maybe this week they go more into Jamal Morrow and also Frankie Hickson, too, who we saw last year, who, when he's on the field, like, he can produce too, right?
Yeah, I would. And Mason Fine is an athlete. He can move around. He can run around. The RPO game where you run pass option game with the backs and whether or not you give it to him or pull it depends on the end play, although BC Lion ends have been playing pretty well all season long. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what kind of game plan they put together for Mason. I'm sure it'll be simpler, but that doesn't always mean easier for the opponent. Simpler just means you have a smaller play package, but then you can expand within the play. Get more comfortable, see how Mason plays. But again, it's the moment you take a pro football team and you say, yeah, this should be an easy win. I used to do it in beer league hockey right over here around the corner. You know when you go in beer league hockey and you're sitting on the bench and the other team only has like 6 guys?
5 different uniforms.
Yeah, and you look over and you go, 6 guys? Oh, we are going to kick their butt. Like, they only have 6 guys.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good 6, and they beat you badly.
Well, I mean, the other thing, too, is, Wally Blunt would always talk about this. All these coaches will say it. 5 big plays in a game. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Saskatchewan they get 2 punt return TDs from Mario Alford this Saturday.
Yeah,
they're going to be in good shape, right? So that's the big thing, is limiting those explosive plays that could go the other way. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side, Nick Kowalski's world famous trivia. We're going to get Suits involved in that, and Bake will tell us what's happening with the activities at BC Place this Saturday. All that more coming up. This is BC Lions on Tap on AM 730 and the Lions Audio Network.
Now, back to Lions on Tap. Here again is Bob Marjanovic.
This is Lions on Tap on AM 730 and the Lions Audio Network, coming to you from the Black Bear Pub in North Vancouver. And a big thank you again to the folks from the Black Bear Pub for having us, and Russell Brewing as well for sponsoring tonight's show. It's the Moj, Bob Marjanovic, along with Matt Baker and Nick Kowalski from the Lions Audio Network. Our special guest is TSN's Glen Suitor. And Suits, one of the fun parts about On Tap each and every week is Nick Kowalski's now world-famous trivia. It's picking up a lot of steam on social media, Twitter. He's up to, 2.3 million followers with his trivia account. Instagram, he's up to about 1.5 million. So
nice.
It's getting up there. What do you got for us this week, Kowalski?
You know these numbers by heart, eh?
Yeah, just off the top of my head.
So we haven't really had a running back related question, so I thought I'd give some love to the recent running backs here. And just like the rivalry contest that's beginning at 11 a.m. on Saturday outside, I'm going to include both teams in this one.
Okay.
So we're going running backs. I want you guys to name the last 15 Riders and Lions rushers to rush for 1,000 yards in one season.
Larry Key.
Larry Key's incorrect. The last 15.
James Butler.
Hold on. That last 15 seasons?
Last 15 to do it. James Butler.
Last 15
combined,
to do it.
right?
Most recent 15.
Oh, most recent
15.
15.
Yeah, so James Butler is the last one. He did it last season.
Jeremiah Johnson.
He did not do it.
He did not do it. Wow.
Did Morrow rush for 1,000?
Morrow was not injury.
William Powell.
William Powell's done it.
Kenton Keith.
That's a good one. That's on there.
Yeah.
2002, something in there?
2006, 1,037.
How about Robert Drummond?
That is the last answer, 1999.
99.
1,309, yeah. So it cuts off in 1999.
Sean Millington.
Yeah, Millington.
There's another one.
Mentioned him earlier.
He did it in 2000.
Antonio Warren.
But he did it in
04.
04, yeah.
Suits, you gonna participate?
That's the wrong answer. Did you see that?
We got Antonio
I
Warren.
am marveling over Bakes here.
Stephon Logan.
Incorrect.
No.
Oh. What happens when you get one wrong?
We were going to do 3 strikes, but this one's a little tough.
Martell Mallet.
That's a great one. Got it.
Oh.
In 2009, 1,240 yards.
Andrew Harris.
Andrew Harris
That's an obvious one.
Andrew Harris did it multiple times. He last did it.
Come on, Suits. We need more riders here.
Hey, this is Cates.
Wes Cates. That's a great one. Wes Cates did it a couple times. 2010 last.
See, I'm thinking George Reed, but no, that's not going to. We're too far back.
You got a couple more riders here.
We're
Wes Cates was a good one.
We're missing a recent obvious.
You have 2 more recent riders. One's pretty obvious. He was here for a hot minute and had a massive year this year. It was a big year for the Riders too. Who's a running back in?
Oh my goodness.
2013. I'll give you the year. You guys are gonna kick yourself when you hear this name.
It's got to be
Corey
somebody.
Sheets.
Corey Sheets.
Yeah, that's it.
There's one too. He's most known for being a Stampeder, but he had a tenure with the Riders too recently.
Jerome Messam.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we got.
He had
4,
1,006.
We got 4 more, right?
We have 3 more.
Are we missing any Lions?
No, we got 4.
2 of them are Lions. We have 4 more. Who's this right here? Well, yeah, 3 of them are Lions. 3 of them are Lions. One's a Rider.
No, Damon Allen wouldn't be like.
He was close. He was in the 700s.
Okay, so he's not.
This might give it away for Bakes. He got a Lion in 2019. He just got
John
it.
White III. Yeah,
He got it by 4 yards.
John White got 1,000.
John White. That's
John
right.
White.
Wow.
Yep.
And then you're missing.
I've blocked out 2019. crazy, stupid year.
You got 2 more Lions and 1 more Rider.
Well, Matt Bake's he's already won.
He's one more rider.
The rider is in 2001. I have self-admittedly never heard of this.
2001 rider.
2001.
Oh, boy.
Oh, he's number 19. He was number 19. He was not Holmes.
Corey Holmes?
Corey Holmes.
That's incorrect. I'll give this one. It's Darren Davis.
Lion. Got to go Joe Smith.
Joe Smith is correct.
07.
So we got one more.
So, yeah. I knew I was missing one from
This player did it in 2003. I believe it was the end of his CFL career, too.
Corey Holmes was a
Kelvin Anderson.
Correct.
There you go.
There you are.
That's it.
So there's all 15.
Killed
1999.
Yeah.
That was like all Bakes.
You forget Kelvin Anderson was a Lion.
Wes Cates is a good pull.
Yeah, but come on, that was domination.
But the whole thing is like I told you.
I didn't do much schoolwork, Suits. It was all sports.
After 2000, I'm done. It's a blur. Like you get me like before 2000, I'm there. But 2000,
we'll get you next week.
It's all blur. That was a blur.
That's good, man. That's good.
Very quickly, Suits. What you got? You got 2 games this weekend, correct?
Yes, I'm going to Winnipeg to do the Bomber and Elks game, and then back here to BC for the Riders in town.
Cool. So we'll see you Saturday. Bakes, what do they got planned for the fans Saturday?
We're calling it the Watermelon Smash. I know Suits is going to be there eating watermelon and doing all the contests. 11 a.m., Terry Fox Plaza. It's a double tailgate. We have a tailgate party for the Riders on one side, Lions, of course, on the other. Like we said, all kinds of contests. There's going to be Sask dogs with smokies and pierogies. I know you're all over that mode. You're going to break your diet. Watermelon White Claws, $5 Molson Coors beverages. Fog Dog. Remember Lions Den, the band at Fog Dog in Regina? They're coming. They're flying
Fog
out
Dog.
here. They're to do the tailgate. Emma Bonner here in our partnerships. She's going to take part in all the contests as well. So, Watermelon Smash. 11 a.m.
Hey, Suits, you spent time in Saskatchewan. Where does the watermelon stuff go?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, what did that?
How did it originate?
You started that.
No, I didn't, and I don't know, and I don't understand it. But it's great. It's fun. You can buy the fake ones, or on game days, the grocery stores in Saskatchewan load up
on watermelon
because they know they're going to buy them and cut them in half, cut out the thing, and put them on their heads.
I just want to know
who
started it.
Well, what happened in Green Bay with cheese? I don't know.
I don't get that one either.
Well, the Green Bay Packers were named after Curly Lambeau's packing company. That's where the cheese is involved, right?
Wow.
Apparently, yeah.
So you just won another trivia question.
Yeah. I'm here all night, Glenn. Yeah.
Bakes, you were on absolute fire today.
Yeah, that was pretty good,
That was like
man.
Suits and I were just watching.
Yeah, I bought a ticket for that show.
Hey, by the way, speaking of tickets, should mention Upper Bowl is open.
Yes.
On Saturday for the 4 o'clock kickoff.
$25 for adults, $10 for youth, 17 and under.
So that's a great sign. They're expecting. Saskatchewan always draws well, of course, on the road anywhere. And it's going to be a great crowd as they open up the Upper Bowl for the second time in 3 games. So looking forward to that. Again, we will have the broadcast on Saturday, the Resurrection Spirits pregame show beginning at 3. Of course, kickoff at 4. Myself, Julio Caravetta, Karen Sermon also working with us from the sidelines. So it should be a lot of fun. Suits, we want to thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Great stuff.
I think we should make this a new rule. You can have a Russell's while you're,
doing trivia. Actually, you know what? The way we participated in trivia tonight,
maybe not.
No Russells for us.
Not till after the show, yeah.
Yeah, Bakes, he was on fire tonight. Special thank you to, again, all the folks here at the Black Bear Pub in North Vancouver and the folks from Russell Brewing for having us out. Also, a big thank you to our executive producer / engineer on site, one Trevor Martins.
Executive, love it.
I like that, eh? Also, a big thank you to Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski, Glen Suitor for stopping by tonight. Of course, this is BC Lions on Tap on AM 730 in the Lions Audio Network. Before we get out of here, you know what I'm going to tell you. Do what you got to do, folks. Just do us a favor. Be safe.